Good morning to all of you. Let us start with the divide and conquer approach. So in the last lecture, let me admit to more students. In the last lecture, we have discussed about the direct computation of the DFT, in which we have discussed about the more complex valued sequence. Okay, and their direct computation, number of evaluation we require, number of multiplication we require, number of real addition required. That all we discussed. Now we go for the divide and conquer approach computation of the DFT, and that we have seen that the endpoint DFT, where the n cross 1 vector or the endpoint DFT is divided into two integers where n is equal to L into M. So whatever column vector is given to us, we divide that column vector into rows and columns. So this we have discussed the sequence x of n, where x of n is 0 to n minus 1. This particular sequence is stored in a one dimensional. Okay, so this is a sequence x0 to x minus 1. So here number of sequence points are 0 to n minus 1. So these all are nothing but stored in a column vector or one dimensional vector. So here we can represent the same thing in a two dimensional with the L cross M, where L is nothing but the row index and M is the column index. So this is how we can represent one dimensional array into two dimensional array indexed by L cross M. Okay, now we go for the our input representation of DFT and output representation. Okay, so now the new topic for today is divide and conquer approach. So the sequence x of n can be stored in a rectangular array in a variety of ways, each of which depends on the mapping of index into the indexes L comma M. For example, n is equal to ml in plus m. So suppose we are taking, so this is how we can represent the x of n with the, these are the one, first one is the row wise input mapping. So we are representing this in a rectangular array where n is equal to ml plus m. So what it indicates in this arrangement, first row consists of first m elements of x of n, and the second row consists of the next m elements of the x of n, and so on. So here, as we are talking, n is equal to ml plus m. So here you can see n is equal to ml plus m. So here what happened, this is a row wise input mapping. So first row, so it will contain the m elements of x of n. So x0, x1, x2 up to xm minus 1, as this L represent the row index and m represent the column index. So now what we are doing, we are representing x of n in a n is equal to ml plus m. So this ml means nothing but now whatever row available with us, whatever row available with us, we divided row into m number of rows. So here 0, x1, x2 up to xm minus 1. Similarly, in the second one, xm plus 1 up to x twice m minus 1, and at the last xl minus 1 into m up to xlm minus 1. So this is nothing but we are representing the xn or our input sequence in a rectangular array with a row wise input mapping. This is known as a row wise input mapping. Here these lines are the row wise input mapping, and here DFT is for down columns. So here DFTs are shown in the down column. So this is represented as row wise input mapping. Alternatively, we can go for the column wise input mapping. In this arrangement, first n elements of x of n in the first column, the next L elements in the second column, and so on. So here what we are doing, here now your column is divided into m number of columns. So n is equal to L plus ml. So this you can see x0, xl, x twice L. So here whatever your column index, that is L, that is divided into m number of columns. So here you are getting x0, x1, x2 up to xl minus 1. This is your first column. And second column, so twice of that, x twice L minus 1. Third column, x 3L minus 1. So total ml number of columns are there. So x lm minus 1. So this is how you can represent your x of n, means your input sequence in a column mapping or column wise input mapping. So this is n is equal to L plus ml. Okay, and yes, whatever the right arrows are shown over here, this shows the DFTs across the rows. Okay, so here what we are doing, here we are doing row wise input mapping, and we are taking the DFTs column wise. Here we are taking the column wise input mapping, but we will take the DFTs across rows. Okay, now all of you clear about this, or anybody having any query? Let us solve this query, then we go for the discussion about the output mapping. Yes, Bhavesh Maheshwari. Bhavesh Maheshwari, please unmute your mic.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is your first lecture.
No, sir. I have attended all the lectures.
Okay, maybe you are renamed your ID.
Oh, sorry, sir. I'll join with other ID. I forgot.
Oh, it's okay, okay, because I didn't found your UI number, so I'm okay.
Sir, I'll
So you are
join
getting this
again.
point. It's okay, no problem. No, you
Yes,
just
sir.
continue with that. I will take your attendance.
Okay, okay.
Next time when you go for the next lecture, you just modified it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you got this point, input mapping.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Dhairya Patel, please unmute your mic.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Hello,
you got
sir.
this point.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. I'm getting
Sir,
one query.
these IDs
Yeah,
of
yeah.
triple IDs. So,
Yes.
yes, sir.
Hello.
This IDs of triple IDs, so we can't change our name. Means,
Okay. So
so
you are
should
joining
we?
from Triple IT or from the Gmail IDs?
No, the ID that triple ID provided us.
Okay, then it's okay.
Okay.
Because I didn't found the UI ID name over here, so I think you and Bhavesh joined this first time.
No, sir. I joined with triple IDs. So we can't change our
Okay.
name in that ID.
Okay, okay. You can continue with that. Okay, let me solve one query. Yeah, Ekta, you are having one doubt. You can ask, please.
Sir, how we decide that small m value? I mean,
This
can you
one.
show that with an example? Yes, sir.
We will come to the example. Small n values means nothing but here total n is 0 less than or equal to n less than or equal to capital N minus 1. So for example, I am taking n. Suppose I am taking 4, n is equal to 4, capital N is equal to 4. So in that case, it shows the total number of samples are 4. So how we represent these samples? Starting from 0, then 1, 2, and 3. So these are now nothing but our input sequence samples. 0, 1, 2, 3. So these are the samples. Now you can represent in a row and column index, or you can say in the rectangular window or two-dimensional array. 2 cross 2, 3 cross 3, 4 cross 4, like this.
Sir,
Okay.
and the small m value, not n.
Yeah, small m. Okay, small m means whatever data available with you, you want to divide the data in how many columns or how many rows. Okay,
That's completely arbitrary. Like,
no arbitrary, that depend on your input value. At present we are taking a general equation, n is equal to ml plus m. Okay, in the last lecture we have discussed that if you are having 4 values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can use 2 cross 2. Okay, so in that you can say number of rows are 2, number of columns are 2. Okay, similarly, now if I want to divide that data into multiple columns, then I select the number. Okay, for example, if you are selling number 3, then available data are 4. So remaining 2 columns are remain empty, or you have to pad zeros over there. Okay, so depending on our requirement, we can select data.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now we go for the divide and conquer approach at the output side. Okay. So a similar arrangement can be used to store the computed DFT values. So earlier here we have seen the input data x of n, how we represent it row wise or column wise, that we have discussed. Now after applying the input, we are calculating the DFTs. Okay. So now how to represent or how to arrange the output value x of k. So a similar arrangement can be used to store the computed DFT values. The mappings is the form index k to a pair indices pq, where p is nothing but 0 is less than or equal to p less than or equal to l minus 1. Similarly, q is nothing but 0 less than or equal to q less than or equal to m minus 1. So the mapping, when we are taking k is equal to mp plus q, same as your previous one, only the notations are changed. Here we are taking n is equal to ml plus m. As you remember, in our DFT, we are using the variable k. So now k is represented with mp plus q. So now your rows are divided. So it is mp plus q. It is known as a row wise output mapping. So in this mapping, the first row contains the first m elements of the DFT x of k. The second row contains the next set of m elements, and so on. Similarly, if you map the k is equal to ql plus p, so it is known as a column wise output mapping. So the first l elements are stored in the first column, the second set of l elements are stored in the second column, and so on. So in the first case, we divide the data row wise. In second case, we divide the data column wise. So this is nothing but divide and conquer approach for the output. So here first we have seen the row wise input mapping, column wise input mapping, then we discuss row wise output mapping, and then we discuss about the column wise output mapping. Okay, now let us take one example. So here row wise input mapping
Sir,
and
I have,
column wise
sir,
output map.
I have some questions.
Yeah,
So,
you can ask.
whenever we design a divide and conquer approach to any problem, we first prove that this divide and conquer approach will work. That means if we have a problem of size n and we can divide it into some parts, maybe n by 2, n by 2, n by 3, n by 3, and so on. So we prove that calculating n by
Okay.
2 and n by 2 part, first and second part, will we can generate solution of n. So how we are proving the divide and conquer technique will work in this scenario also. I know it's working, that's why we are learning, but how we prove that this approach will be optimal for this problem.
I am not getting your exact question. You are asking
So the
about
exact
how this column. This is today we are discussing. That is how we represent the data. Okay.
So
Divide and
we
conquer approach is nothing but whatever larger. Just a second. Let me finish first. So
Yes.
whatever larger size DFTs are available with us. So as the complexity of that computation of DFT is larger or higher, so in that case, what we are doing, we are dividing that larger DFT into smaller DFTs. Okay, and then we find out the solution for smaller DFTs and then merge them to get the final solution. So this is nothing but exact divide and conquer approach. Okay, now today what we are doing in this, whatever data is available, now we have decided to divide the entire data into smaller size, but how to represent or how to arrange the data into smaller size. So in that case, what we are doing, we are taking the first approach, row wise representation, then column wise representation for the input, similar row wise and column wise mapping. So this is nothing but data is available with you, how you map that data, how you represent that data.
Sir, I am
Okay,
getting
so it
your
is
plot.
nothing related with the exact. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm getting all the points you
yeah,
have discussed here, and about the
okay.
structure you have told me. But the doubt remains is and not every problem can be solved through divide and conquer technique. Are you agree?
Yeah,
Yeah. So we have some proof that DFT can be solved through. First, we have whenever this technique will be would be developed, we have some proof that this problem can be distributed in n by 2 parts, or the structure that you
Okay.
have told about. So there must be a
Okay.
so prove that how this divide and conquer supports this DFT function or DFT problem that we have currently.
Whatever you are asking is how you are getting the answers from the divide and conquer
Yeah,
approach.
how
Okay.
n
As
by 2
simple thing
parts
is,
will give the DFT of n size function. That was
okay,
precisely
let
what.
me cover this topic in the
Hmm.
next, or maybe in this slide also, with one example. I try to cover
Yes,
your answer with the example.
yes, sir.
Okay, so that the things will be more clear.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Whenever we finish this theoretical part, I will take one example and try to solve your query with the example.
Yeah.
Then things will be more clear, because in that case you are getting the exact division of that particular thing, and how you are clubbing that
Hmm.
to get the original DFT. Okay,
Hmm.
so I will cover this in with one example. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let us continue with this. Here I am taking the row wise input mapping and column wise output mapping. Okay, just a second. One of the students are joining right now. Who is joining? Jalaki. Please unmute your mic. I don't remember the exact surname, but okay,
Sir,
please be
me?
punctual. Yeah, you joined right now.
No, sir.
Then maybe any another. Okay. Okay, you can mute your mic. No problem.
I couldn't
This is
see
an
my name,
instruction
sir.
common instruction to all. Please be punctual and join the lecture as soon as you are getting the link within or 5-10 minutes. Okay, I can allow up to, if my lecture is at 10:30, I will allow till 10:35 from next lecture onwards.
No, sir, I was at 10:35.
Okay. No, no, I'm not telling to you. Imani, you are
Okay.
talking, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know, I'm not telling to you, but one person joined just right now.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay, no problem. We continue with the theory. Row wise input mapping and column wise output mapping. So here input x of n is mapped into the rectangular array x l comma m, and output x of k is mapped into a corresponding rectangular array x p comma q. As we have seen that our input mapping is represented with column l or row l and m column. Similarly, our output is mapped with p and q. So here x of n is mapped into the rectangular array l comma m, and output DFT is mapped into the corresponding rectangular array x p comma q. The DFT can be expressed as a double sum over the elements of rectangular array multiplied by the corresponding face vectors. So specifically, adopt a column-wise mapping for x of n and row-wise mapping for the DFT. So here we are adopting the column-wise mapping for the input x of n, where n is represented with L plus ML, and row wise mapping selected for the DFT x of k. So here row wise output mapping, that where k is equal to MP plus Q. Here we are using the notations. Here we are using the notation n to represent the input mapping, k to represent the output mapping. Okay, so when you use this type of mapping, your final equation is will be x pq, because now your k, whatever DFT we are represented with this x of k, so this k is now replaced with p comma q. So x of pq is equal to summation m is equal to 0 to m, l is equal to 0 to l minus 1, because now your input is represented with the L and M. So we are using this m is equal to 0 to m, L is equal to 0 to L minus 1, x Lm. Here earlier we have used the term n. Now this n term is replaced with the rectangular array L comma M. And here this is nothing but Peetle factor. So omega n MP plus Q. This is the equation we are using for output, or you can say the k, whatever n. Here earlier we are writing k into n. Okay, omega n, sorry, omega suffix n raised to kn. So this small k is nothing but mp plus q over here, and n is nothing but l plus ml. So that's why this equation is modified. This is same as your previous equation, only the modifications are here we are representing x of k as a x of pq, x of n as a x of lm, and omega n raised to kn with this omega n raised to mp plus q into l plus ml. So when you simplify this by applying the earlier discussed formulas, omega n raised to nmp is equal to 1, omega s n raised to mql is equal to omega mq divide sorry, omega suffix n by l raised to mq is equal to omega suffix m raised to mq. So here this term are, when we expand this term, you are getting the 4 terms over here, and the solution for these 4 terms are based on this equation: omega suffix n raised to ml mp, omega n raised to mlq, omega n raised to mpl, and last one is omega n raised to lq. This is nothing but same as your DFT equation, but this equation is now represented with the input mapping, row wise input mapping and column wise, sorry, column wise input mapping and row wise output mapping. Okay, so with above simplification, above equation can be expressed as, when you apply the simplification we have discussed. So now you are getting x of pq is equal to sigma l is equal to 0 to l minus 1 omega suffix n raised to lq, then sigma m is equal to 0 to m minus 1 x of lm omega suffix m raised to mq, and at the outside omega suffix l raised to lp. The above expression involves the computation of DFTs of length m and length l. Now this equation is nothing but the simplification of previously discussed equation. Now here you can see the main, if I divide this equation into the parts, first part is whatever our input matrix, input sequence x of n, we have to multiply with the twiddle factor. This is our first one, first equation. Then we have to do the summation from m is equal to 0 to m minus 1. So this first bracket up to this is your first equation. Okay, second is you have to again multiply with this the twiddle factor omega n into lq, omega n raised to lq. So this will be the second part. This is the first one, this is the second part, and finally whatever answer you are getting for this, you have to multiply it with omega l raised to lp. So this will be the third one. So to get the solution, we divide this equation into 3 sections. So here, so the entire computation can be subdivided into 3 sections or 3 steps. So first is compute
me,
the
sir.
m point. Yes.
So I have a doubt in previous to previous slide.
Yeah, just a second. Okay.
So can you
one?
explain that how, yeah, in the last line, we have written omega mql equal to omega mq n by l. So how this
Okay.
came?
Okay. Here omega n raised to mq by l. Okay. So here this is nothing but here whatever your n is nothing but your total n number of samples, capital N. Here m is nothing but, it is nothing but the column of your input, and q is nothing but the column of your output. Okay, and l is nothing but the total length. So here when we apply this notation and we find out the answer, this we will again cover with the next exam. Just a second, let me take over here. I have covered over here also. Yeah, are you just Ekta, you are getting this omega n raised to 2k? You
Yes,
got this
sir.
slide? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Here in this we can represent this twiddle factor omega n, omega suffix n raised to 2k is equal to omega raised to k into n by 2. So here this is the simple property of twiddle factor. With this what happen, whatever you are this term twice k, you can take this twice into the n by 2 representation. So here omega raised to k into omega suffix n by 2 raised to k. So this is one of the properties we have utilized over here. This we will cover in the example also to make you more clear. So now come to this. Here omega suffix n mq by L. So here whatever L term is in multiplication over here, you can take this in the so with the suffix as a division. So n by L. So based on the Twiddle factor properties, we are doing this, and this n by L factor is nothing but it represent our m term. Okay, so n by L is nothing but m. So omega mq by m, and here again we are doing the same thing, omega n raised to mpl. So this m term, whatever here we are written, we are taking this n by m. So this n by m is nothing but again represent the L term. Okay, so this is how we simplify based on the Twiddle factor properties, nothing else. Hope you got your answer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, anybody? Yes, we. Sir, even we can use input as row wise and output as a column wise. Yeah, these are the optional things. At present, we are taking this column wise input mapping and row wise output mapping. This is the one alternate way or one theory we are discussing on that. You can take any of that combination. Okay. This is nothing but how we represent the data or we map the data. So there are the choices available with you. You can take any of the mapping or any of the representation. Only the calculation is important. This is how we represent. Okay. So let us continue with this. This is the first term as I discussed. This is the second term and this is the third term. So now this as are our three main steps for the entire calculation. So first is compute m point DFTs, where f we apply the new notation FLQ is equal to sigma m is equal to 0 to m minus 1 x lm omega suffix m raised to mq. So this is, you can see the first part. Again, let me erase all this data. Okay, this you can see the our f term. I'm writing only the term over here, f of LQ. This we represented sigma m is equal to 0 to m minus 1 xlm omega m raised to mq. Okay, then second is here we have to calculate this for each of the rows. This is for each of the rows, L is equal to 0, 1, 2 up to L minus 1. You have to calculate the f of LQ. Second term is compute a new rectangular array. This rectangular array is nothing but it is whatever f you are getting, you have to multiply it with omega n raised to LQ. So here we assign the notation G. So compute a new rectangular array GLQ, that is omega n raised to LQ, where you multiply omega n raised to LQ with FLQ, where L is nothing but 0 to L minus 1, Q is nothing but 0 to M minus 1. So these are the two parts of this. This is the second one, which is D notation. And finally, we apply the L point DFTs, where XPQ is nothing but sigma L is equal to 0 to L minus 1 GLQ into omega L raised to LP. So here you can see that whatever answer you are getting for this bracket, it is multiplied with omega L raised to LP, and we apply the final summation L is equal to 0 to L minus 1, which is nothing but our original term or original DFT X. So this is written X of PQ is equal to sigma L is equal to 0 to L minus 1 G of L comma Q omega L raised to LP. For each columns, Q is equal to 0, 1, here by mistake 1 is repeated, 0, 1, 2 up to M minus 1. So this is the nothing but how you divide the entire equation into three different steps. Okay, now we go for the computational complexity. So first step is computation of LDFTs, each of M points. So in the first step, as you have seen, we are taking this, what we are doing the M point DFT. Okay, so in the last lecture, we have discussed about the computational complexity of DFT. Okay, so I think you remember this slide, we discussed in the detail also. Okay, this one. So total number of, just note down this, total number of multiplications needed are n square in the DFT, and total number of complex additions needed are n into n minus 1. Forget about these initial terms, these are related with this particular equation, but in general we can write total number of multiplications are n square and total number of additions are n into n minus 1. Okay, now here for the first case, we are doing the m point DFT. Okay, so as m point DFT, what will be the complex multiplications? If I'm taking m point DFT instead of n point, now the notation is changed from n to m only. So here I can write m square, okay, and number of addition m into m minus 1. Same equation we have to apply. I request all of you to take the notepad or notebook and write down this equation. General equation for DFT is n square into n minus 1. So for multiplication, equation is n square, addition n into n minus 1. So now here we are doing m point DFT. So for m point DFT, our equation is m square, number of multiplication we require, and m into m minus 1 additions we require. Okay, so here you can see this part only, m square and m into m minus 1. Okay, so this is for the m point DFT. But here one thing is also written, for each rows of L is equal to 0, 1, 2 up to L minus 1. So total number of rows are 0 to L minus 1. So total L number of rows are there. M point DFT, but for L number of rows. Okay, so for L number of rows, so you have to multiply it with the factor L at both. Okay, so now your complex multiplications are m square into L, and complex additions are m into m minus 1 into L. All of you got this? Having any query? Yes, please. Any of you please respond. Do you have any query or you are getting this point? Okay. Okay. So we go for the second step. In the second step, what we are doing, we are computing new rectangular array. So as you can see here, we have to go for the calculation of new rectangular array. Okay, so in this new rectangular array, when you calculate the new rectangular array GL comma Q, in that you have to multiply L with M. So no other things are there, only L cross M multiplications are there. As no sigma function involved in this, only you have to multiply this omega n or twiddle factor with f of LQ. So here whatever calculation we are doing in the form of M and L, same we have to apply over here. So here the notations are L minus 1 and M minus 1. Though the calculations are in the form L comma Q, but the L represents 0 to capital L minus 1. So you can say total L number of things over here, and Q is nothing but 0 to M minus 1. So M number of things are there. So here you can say total number of multiplications required L into M. Okay. And now the third step. In the third step, what we are doing, computation of L DFTs, each of M points. Now here you can see total number of L points we have to calculate. L points DFT we have to calculate. L DFTs we have to calculate for each M points. So total M number of points are there, and we have to calculate the L DFTs. So when you calculate the L DFT, L number of DFT, what is the equation? L square multiplication, number of multiplications are L square, and number of complex additions are L into L minus 1. Okay, so here complex multiplications are L square and complex additions are L into L minus 1. So M such points are there. So M such points are there. So you have to multiply your multiplication with M over here. So it will become M L square, and complex additions are again multiplied with M. So M into L minus 1. So these are the 3-step complexity 1, 2, and 3. All of you clear about this? Do you have any query? Okay, now we go for the overall computational complexity by combining all these 3 steps. Okay, so total number of multiplication and total number of additions we have to calculate, and we will compare that with the direct DFT. So how much advantage or how much reduction in computational complexity we are getting, that we have to calculate. So here complex multiplications are here LM square Here LM, for the second step LM, and the third step ML square. Okay, so here first step M, just a second, let me erase the ink first. Okay, for first step LM square, for second step complex multiplications are LM, and third step is ML square. Please note down this simplification in your book. The direct answers are given, so I request you to note down all these simplifications. LM square plus LM plus ML square. So out of this three notation, we are taking the ML as a common. So now you are getting M plus 1 plus L. So when you rearrange the term, here I am introducing the new notation N, where N is nothing but M into L. So here N into M plus L plus 1. So these many multiplications we require, that is N into M plus L plus 1. Okay, now we go for the addition. Number of additions we require. So in the first case, LM into M minus 1 additions. In second case, no additions are there. In the third case, our additions are ML into L minus 1. So when we add this, first term is LM M minus 1, third term ML N minus 1. So when we expand this term, M square L minus ML plus ML square minus ML. Again, when we simplify, M square L plus ML square minus 2ML. So when we take the common ML as a common, you are getting N M plus L minus 2, where N is nothing but ML. So here you can see ML into this term M plus L minus 2. So your total number of additions we require are N into M plus L minus 2. So your total number of multiplications are these many multiplication, and total number of additions are these many total additions. Okay, so
Sir, sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
Sir, in the first step, there is written computation of LDFTs each of M points, and in the third step
Yeah.
also it is written computation of LDFTs each of M points. So it is wrong,
Yeah.
sir.
just a second, let me, which is not, no, here you can see your Q is represented in the form of M minus 1. Okay, though it is written L equations in the form of Q. Okay, here as you written, L is equal to 0 to L minus 1, G of L comma Q. But this Q is nothing but represented in the form of M minus 1. So when we say Q, it is nothing but M number of points. So either you write L points DFT for Q points, or you can write L point DFTs for M point. The meaning is same. Okay, you got your answer?
So no, please can you switch to 44th slide?
Just a second. Yeah. You are asking about this, na? Let me mark over
Sir.
here. You are asking about this. Okay.
And also the first step, sir. They are written same
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, same thing. Here I have written L DFTs each of M points. Here written computation of L DFTs each of M points. So here you can see. Okay, so the terms are interchange. Okay. Whatever you are telling. Here M point DFT for L number of. Okay. Just a second. What you want to say here? You are telling L DFTs each of M points, and here M DFTs each of L points.
Yes, sir.
This thing, na? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
but either you multiply with M with L or L with M, this will remain same.
Hi, that is right, sir. But I was just
Yeah.
talking
You
about
can.
what is
You are
written.
correct. So this thing is misprint in the book, maybe. So computation of L DFTs for M points or computation of M DFTs for L point. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So here total number of multiplications are N into M plus L plus 1. Total number of additions are N M plus L minus 2. Okay, now we are going to compare it with the direct computational complexity of the direct implementation of DFT. Okay, now earlier we have seen that when we go for the direct calculation of DFT, so total number of multiplication has reduced. Earlier it was N square. Okay, now here we are getting N into M plus L plus 1. Okay, so we can say total number of multiplication has been reduced from N square to N into m plus l plus 1. Okay, now total number of additions has been reduced. Earlier it was n into n minus 1. Now we are getting n into m plus l minus 2. Now in the equation form, some of you may not agree with that. Reduction is not visible clearly. Okay, here I have written n square to n m plus l plus 1. Okay, addition, then n into n minus 1 to n m plus l minus 2. Okay, so to make things more clear, let us take one example. Okay, so here I am taking n is equal to 1000. So for example, my DFT having total number of 1000 points. So n is equal to 1000. So this 1000 can be factored in two terms. I am taking L is equal to 2 and M is equal to 500. Okay, so L cross M will give you this number. Okay, so here we are dividing or factoring n into two factors, which is nothing but L into M. So I am taking L is equal to 2 and M is equal to 500. Okay, now we go for the calculation. So complex multiplication in direct computation. If you are taking direct computation, how many multiplication you require? N square. So n square is nothing but 1000 raised to 2. So in simply you can say 10 raised to 6 number of multiplication you require when you go for direct computation. Okay, now computational multiplication you required in divide and conquer approach. So now we are taking this notation n into m plus l plus 1. So that is 1000 in bracket 500 plus 2 plus 1, as our L is nothing but I have taken 2, M is equal to 5 in the bracket 500 plus 2 plus 1. So when you multiply this, your answer is this one, 5 lakh 3000. So here approximately 10 raised to 6 means nothing but 10 lakh calculation you are getting. Total 10 lakh calculation, but here you are getting 5 lakh 3000. So multiplication complexity is reduced by approximate factor of 2, not the exact word, but approx factor of 2. Instead of 10 lakh multiplications in direct competition, now we require the 5 lakh multiplication in the divide and conquer approach. Now in complex addition in direct computations are n into n minus 1. So here n is 1000, again 1000 minus 1. So you are getting 99900, means 99,000 or 9,99,000. So total number of additions required in direct computations are 9,99,000. Okay, now if you go for divide and conquer approach, total number of additions are n into m plus l minus 2. So if you apply the values, 1000 in bracket 500 plus 2 minus 2. So exact 5 lakh number of additions you require. So here approximate 10 lakh, here 5 lakh. So again reduction by about a factor of 2. So we can say that when we go for the divide and conquer approach, what happened? Instead of direct computation, the calculation or complexity is reduced. For this particular example, a reduction by factor 2 is achieved. All of you got it? Anybody having any query in this calculation? This is simple one. Yes, please reply. Anybody having any query? Okay. Okay. So now we go for the next slide. Now what to do when n is highly composite number? So when n is highly composite number, what we have to do? So number can be factored. So whatever n number, if it is a highly composite number, what happen? Instead of taking single factor, we are taking multiple factors. So n can be factored into a product of prime numbers. So we can say that, just a second, Rishabh. At max, we can reduce it to square root of n. Yeah. Okay, so n can be factored into a product of prime numbers of the form n is equal to r1, r2 up to rv. So in this case, the decomposition above can be repeated v minus 1 more times. So if n is a composite number, or you consider a big number, what we are doing? We are doing that composite number into the product of prime numbers, and then we represent n as a r1, r2 up to rv. So whatever one single number, we divide it into total number of v numbers. So for that division, for that decomposition, what we require, then the decomposition above can be repeated v minus 1 more times. Okay, this procedure results in a smaller DFTs, which in turn leads to a more efficient computational algorithm. So in this case, what happened? You are getting the more smaller DFTs, which will give you the more efficient computational algorithm compared to direct implementation. Okay, so let us take one example. So computation of n is equal to 15-point DFT. So if we are taking 15-point DFT, so here n is equal to, we represent 5 cross 3, 5 number of rows and 3 number of columns. So we select L is equal to 5 and M is equal to 3. We store the M point sequence X of n column wise as follows. As we have taken L is equal to 5. So 5 number of rows, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4 and row 5, and 3 columns, column 0, column 1 and column 2, or you can say column 1, column 2 and column 3. So here first row, first column, so x0 0, we store x0 over there, then x1, then x2, like this. So here we can store the first 5 values from 0 to 4, next 5 values and last 5 values. Okay, so this is nothing but your whatever sequence 15 point will be divided into L cross M. So L is equal to 5, M is equal to 3. So we can store this X of n column wise as follows. Now we compute the 3-point DFT. So as we have discussed, we have to find out the F, then G and then X. So we compute the 3-point DFT for each of the 5 rows. So when we find out the 3-point DFT, okay, now your representation remains same, 5 cross 3. Now only you are getting calculating the 3-point. 3 is nothing but M. M is equal to 3. So in other words, you can say you are calculating the M point DFT for each of the 5 rows. So when you calculate M point DFT here in this equation, then you calculate the M point DFT, what happened? You are getting the term f of LQ, or in simple we represent it with FL comma Q. So here that we are written FL comma Q. So it is from 0 0 to 4 1. Now you are getting the term FL comma Q, which start from 0 0 to 4 comma 2. Now the next step is to multiply each of the terms FLQ by the phase factor. By the phase factor omega n raised to LQ. Here L is nothing but 0 is less than or equal to 4, Q is nothing but 0 is less than or Q 2. So these factors we have taken. This computational results in a 5 cross 3 array. So here LQ representation. So here you can see L and Q. L and Q started from 0 0 up to 4 2. So the maximum term is 4 comma 2. So L is nothing but 4 and Q is nothing but 2. Now we multiply this term with the omega n raised to LQ. So when you multiply it, you are getting the next term, that is G, as per this equation. In this equation, we are getting the new rectangular array GL of Q by multiplying this twiddle factor with the previously calculated M point DFT. It will give you the G of LQ. So this we are getting G of LQ, G of 0 0 to G of 4 2. Okay. Now last one is this computation yields the desired values of the DFT in the form. So at the last, what we are doing, we are taking the summation of all this from L is equal to 0 to L minus 1 to get the L point DFTs. So to get the L point DFTs, you apply this computation and you do this, then will give you the L point DFT x00 to x42. So in this x00 is nothing but it represents 0. Here it is 1. Here it is 2 up to 14. So here you can say total whatever input values are given, 15 values, same values you are getting in the form of DFT starting from x0 to x14. Okay, so steps in the computation of n is equal to 15 point DFT by means of 3 point and 5 point DFTs. So here this 3 point, it is nothing but we have taken m is equal to 3 and 5 point, here L is equal to 5. So here whatever input data given to you is 0, 5, 10, and this is one matrix we have taken, we can say that is 3 cross 5. Okay, 3 cross 5 matrix is given. You notice one thing here, all the values are given in a this fashion, column wise: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so these all are given. We calculate the 3 point DFT, or you can say the m point DFT. Then here we get the term f over here. We multiply this term with the twiddle factor omega 15 LQ, and here you are getting the term G over here. Then you apply the L point DFT, or you can say here 5 point DFT, which will give you nothing but the your output DFT X. So initially when you compute the m point DFT, you are getting the first term, that is F. Then you apply the twiddle factor, you are getting the second term G. And when you compute the L point DFT, here particularly 5 point DFT, you will get the X term. Okay, so this is how you are getting. The one thing you have to notice here, your input array is nothing but x0, x5, x10. So your array is represented like this: x0, x5, x10, then x1, x6, x11. So this way it is written, and output array is arranged in a proper order: x0, x1, x2 up to x14. So this is written. The input data sequence is shuffled from the normal order in computation of the DFT. On the other hand, the output sequence occurs in a normal order. Though input array is shuffled, but whatever output sequence or output DFT you are getting, that in the normal order. Because here what happened, initially data is arranged in a column wise. Okay, and then you are going the 3 point DFT, applying twiddle factor and this. So row to column and again column to row, and so finally you are getting this representation converted into here 3 cross 5, and then finally you are getting the representation that is 0, 1, 2, 3. So now you can say the representation will be 3 cross 5, but the matrix form is row to column conversion will take place, and you are getting the proper arrangement in that output array will be arranged in a proper order. So this is nothing but this shuffling of the either the input data sequence or the output DFT sequence is a characteristic of most of the FFT algorithm. Though your input data is shuffled, you are getting the output data in a normal order. This is the one of the characteristic of most of the FFTs. Okay, all of you clear? If anybody have any query, you can ask.
Sir, can you explain what happens after we have that F0 and F1
In which slide?
in previous slide? Again,
This one?
previous. Yes, sir.
This one.
No. Yes.
Okay. Here what happened? Here we are representing this equation. Okay. Initially, we have to calculate the m point DFT from x of ln. So whatever x of n is given to us, we represent that data into L cross m. Okay. So that we represented over here. Here L is equal to 5 and m is equal to 3. So we represented this x of n into x of L comma m. Okay. So total 15 points you are getting. Just a second. Here n is equal to 5 cross 3, L is equal to 5 and m is equal to 3. So what you have done, whatever x of n is given to you, you represent this into the x of L comma m. L comma m. Okay. So after this, our next step is we have to find out the m point DFT, which is represented f of LQ. Okay. So that we calculated over here. Here, DFTs of each 5 rows, we have to calculate the DFT for these 5 rows. After calculation for DFT of these 5 rows, now we change the notations from X00 to F00 and F41. So as the equation suggests that this is nothing but the M point DFT, which is nothing but the term F. Then we get the G term by multiplying with the Twiddle factor, and then next one is the calculation of L point DFT, and we get the X of K. Okay. Ekta? Hello. You got your answer?
Sir, can you take to the next slide?
This one? Just a second.
Um,
Yeah.
No, sir, where we have defined that G of 0, 0 and all.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
So here what we are doing is we are taking individual elements DFT, right? Because we are putting K equal to Q equal to 0 and all.
No, in the when you calculate the G, what your equation suggests? As per your equation, just a second, let me resolve this in the calculation of G of LQ, your whatever FLQ you are getting, you have to multiply each of FLQ with this Twiddle factor. It is a one type of scaling, you can say. Okay, so same is represented in the graphics also. Here you are taking the 3-point DFT, then you are applying the Twiddle factors, omega LQ, and here the term 15, total number of sequences.
I got it.
Okay. Okay, so let me take the attendance today.